Glory and honor to Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai Bahasham, Rakah Hakodash. Double honor to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone who does lead and rule well. I want to say salutations and shalom to all you hopeful like Akim pushing out this word in truth and in sincerity that the four corners of the earth. And sincere shalom also to you Akim and Akwaf, listening and learning, preparing yourselves here in these last days. All right, into the entire household of faith, fighting is a good fight of faith. I want to say shalom. This is your brother Quar from the DC camp. Come back at you with another lesson. And I'm entitled this one, and are they Hebrews? So am I. All right. And on the screen, you will see this IUIC member doing a interview. And it says, do Hebrew Israelites have biblical? I'm just going to let you listen to it because this is just a clip that was sent, and another IUIC fell, a horrible take. All right. And we're going to, dismantle that through the spirit, but let me listen to it first. Let me see.
So are you saying that, Hebrew is just based on language, not really tribe, not really ethnicity?
So, for example, right, I am an Israelite.
Yeah.
I don't speak Hebrew. So why would people call me a Hebrew Israelite? I am an Israelite. We are the Israelites. So, and a more accurate term would be, hey, I'm an English. You want to call me an English Israelite? That'd be more accurate because that's the language I speak. But so that term is something that even when we tell people, hey, we're the Israelites. You know what I mean? So
it's, So are you saying that Hebrew is just based on language, not really tribe, not really ethnicity?
So, for example, right, I am an Israelite.
Yeah.
I don't speak.
That's what I meant to do. But yeah. Now, you heard that clearly this guy's stance on that, man. And she asked the right questions. Are you saying it's not based on ethnicity? And he's wrong, man. Because, and you got to really, like, when you go into the scriptures, and this is not emotional language, you got to carefully go into how these terms is categorized in the scriptures, man. Just because you no longer speak fluent Hebrew doesn't make you not a Hebrew. That's negating the history, So your reasoning is biblically flawed, man, when you go into the scriptures, because the Bible doesn't define Hebrew in these verses that we're going to get primarily as a language category. It defines it, like she was asking, as an ethnic, covenantal, or ancestral identity, man. And so let's go through it, man. First, like I said, the Bible don't define Hebrew as just a language, or one who speaks Hebrew fluently. It doesn't do that. The term Hebrew actually came from one of our forefathers, Eber. So let's go ahead and get that. All right, this is Genesis. Oh, yeah, I'm in the New Testament. This is Genesis 10 and verse 21. And there's a reason why these men were being named. So you got to understand the line that we came out of, man. It says, until Shem, also the father of all the children of Eber, the brother of Japheth, the elder, even to him were children born. All right. So this is where Eber came from, man. Or Hebrew came from. It was a person first. Dude. It says the region beyond, He was the son of Salah, great-grandson of Shem, father of Peleg. So it's coming from out of that line, man. Okay? And he was after that. And I'm going to keep going. The next scripture I want to get is Genesis 14. And Genesis 14 and 13. It says, and there came one that had escaped and told Abram the Hebrew, for he dwelt in the plain of Mamre, the Amorite, brother of Eshcol and brother of Aner. And these were confederate with Abram. So what? Abram, before his name was changed to Abraham, was known as Abram the Hebrew. You know? And that was before there was a nation of Israel. You know, and before Hebrew was like linked to that nation's language, the Israelites' language, man. You know, so the term Hebrew, it predates when we was in Sinai. It predates when we was given the law on the tablets, the monarchy that we had, and even our exiles, man. You know, just because, like, what does the scripture say? Let me get it real quick. Oh man, I gotta go back. What? Bear with me 1 second. Go back. Kind of lost my. Okay, here we go. Jeremiah 17 and 14, right? It says, wait. Jeremiah 17 and 4, Salakia. It says, and thou even thyself shall discontinue from thine heritage that I gave thee, and I will cause thee to serve thine enemies in the land which thou knowest not. For ye have kindled a fire in my anger, which shall burn forever. So, a part of our heritage, we got the law, statutes, commandments, but we got the language, the Jews' language. Just because, which this scripture was letting us know that we was going to lose our land, you know, we was going to lose cultural stability. You know, we was going to be in forced slavery, man. You know, but that doesn't mean it's going to erase our whole ancestry, man. You know, during our captivities or our exiles, guess what? Our languages was altered. You know, our culture changed. You know, but it did not change our tribal lineage, man. Who we came from. You know, we mentioned Eber. You know, you got Peleg, you got Abraham. You know, and that's the covenant: Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, man. You know. So what is these dudes even talking about, man? Or this guy? But we're not surprised. This is the same people that says they don't have to go into the Hebrew. They only look at the English, the scriptures for face value. That's why they don't put no importance on the name. But see, the Lord is allowing these things to happen so that you can discern and see who's the real and who's the fake. But a lot of you people, you're not gonna do it. You know. And that's on y'all, man. Okay. Let me get the main thing that I thought of when I seen this scripture. Seen this clip. 2 Corinthians 2. It's not 2. It's 2 Corinthians 11. 2 Corinthians 11 in verse 22. It says, are they Hebrews? So am I. Are they Israelites? So am I. Are they the seed of Abraham? So am I. Okay? So you see the Hebrews, the Israelites, and the seed of Abraham. They all link together, man. You know? So if Hebrew simply meant a Hebrew speaker, or that's the language that you speak, then it would just be a cultural trait, you know? You know? But how Paul treated it? He put it on the same line as an Israelite and as what it says, seed of Abraham. You know? So what are you guys, like, what are you talking about, man? You know? Philippians 3 and verse I'm going to start at 3. It says, for we are the circumcision, which worship the Most High in spirit and rejoice in Yahushua HaMashiach and have no confidence in the flesh. Though I might also have confidence in the flesh, if any other man thinketh that he have wherefore he might trust in the flesh, I more. Circumcised the 8th day, of the stock of Israel, of the tribe of Benjamin, and Hebrew of the Hebrews. As touching the law, a Pharisee, concerning zeal, persecuting the church, blah, blah, blah. Because you know why he was saying that? Because you got the circumcision was boasting themselves higher than the uncircumcision. All Israelites, you know? But here it is, you know, in Acts the 22nd chapter, it says Paul was born in Tarsus, man. You know? He grew up in a Hellenistic environment, man. He even spoke Greek fluently. But what, he still called himself a Hebrew, you know, because what? Lineage, covenantal heritage, man. It's not just about the language, you know. So it's irresponsible for you. If you don't got it, you shouldn't be teaching, man, because then you're gonna be at fault of leading people astray, man. We are, in fact, the Hebrew Israelites, man. Just because we got our language beat out of us doesn't change that. Okay? And this is why you need to go back into your language so you can really understand the scriptures, man. Like it says in the Apocrypha. I think it's the prologue of Sirach. But anyways, y'all don't care about these things, man. Let me see. He was talking about something about the Hebrew tongue. Yeah. It says both speaking and writing. Well, either way, you can read it. I ain't gonna read the whole thing. I know it's in there. You know? But this is Jeremiah 34. And verse 9, it says that every man should let his manservant and every man his maidservant, being in Hebrew or in Hebrewess, go free, that none should serve him of them, to wit, of a Jew his brother. All right? And this was in the law, man. But you can see here, it said being a Hebrew, and then it says a Jew his brother. So here, a Hebrew and a Jew, they overlap in talking about identity. All right? So it's not just defined as fluency or a specific dialect, man. We are Hebrews. Because they was in, what is that? Babylon, if I'm not mistaken. Let me see. Yep. You know? And again, this was in the law. All right? Deuteronomy 15 and 12, it says, and if thy brother in Hebrew man or in Hebrew woman be sold unto thee and served thee 6 years, then in the 7th year thou shalt let him go free. This is in the law. What is wrong with these dudes? Ye who boast in the law. You know? So historically, through our various captivities, our language shifted, man. That's why they was mad when we were speaking mostly Aramaic, man. Portions of Daniel and Ezra is written in Aramaic because it was common speech, man. You know? After the Babylonian captivity. Greek was widely used. All right? So the ones that the Israelite foreigners, the Greek speaking Jews, does that make them not Hebrews, man? The hell is wrong with y'all, man? You know? The language changed, but the identity doesn't change, man. All right? Let me see something. Let me see. No, I'm not gonna get that one. But yeah, man. I mean, that's the point. You heard it. You know, if fluency influenced or determined your Hebrew identity, then the Israelites that was in Babylon who spoke Aramaic, they would not be Hebrews no more according to his logic. You know, is Paul a Hebrew? We already got it. You know, so in the scriptures, when you go into the Bible, sometimes it does talk about the Jews' language being the Hebrews, because it is a language, but it is also ancestral and covenantal origin, man, from Eber to Abraham. All right, you got the Israelites, you know, then you got the Jews. All right, a Jew is still an Israelite, right? An Israelite is still a Hebrew. Okay, this is not hard, man. In fact, this is what. Let's get this before I close. Come on, man. What the heck? Exodus 9, verse 1. It says, Then Yahweh said unto Moses, Go in unto Pharaoh, and tell him, Thus saith Yahweh, power of the Hebrews, let my people go, that they may serve me. So even the Lord defined our people as the Hebrews, man. You know? Let me see. It's all caps. When you go into it, Ibaria, it says one from beyond, that's what Hebrew means, but then it says a designation of the patriarchs of the Israelites. All right? Descendant of Eber. I mean, so how disrespectful can you guys be? You know? Like, what is your beef with the Hebrew? Like, because you don't want to learn it? Is that what it is? I'm not understanding. You know? The Most High identified himself to Pharaoh as the God of the Hebrews, man. You know? What are you talking about, man? What did Jonah say when he was talking to them people on the ship? He said, I am a Hebrew and I fear Yahweh. Okay? I don't even know what else to say, man. You know? Let me see. Let me see here. Trying to see, go into what this meant. Anyways, man, that's the point. I'm gonna just leave it at that, man. You know? I think the point is made, man. All right. So, Lord's willing, that was edifying to the next lesson. I want to give all praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai Bahasham, Rakakadash. I want to say Shalom.